Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Madison Square Garden Theater in New York City. This is ESL One New York. Welcome to day 2, the final day where we will crown a winner of ESL One. Did you guys have a good time yesterday? If yesterday's games were any indication, I think that we are in for a treat today. Now, we started off the tournament with 8 teams, and there are only 4 remaining, but of those 4 teams, we still have representatives from every single region who qualified for this event. 2 from EU, 1 from America, and of course, the sole survivor from the China qualifier as well. With over $100,000 on the line, and of course, the ESL One trophy, again, I expect some explosive matchups in both semifinals as well as the championship matchup. Now, our first semifinal is between Vici Gaming and Team Secret. And if you missed yesterday, shame on you. But here's a quick look at how both these teams made it here.
They've still got this agency ball on the back of Black, and Van's scoring funny. They're still trying to fight, but in comes your reputation from FY. They'll finish the job.
They see back down. The Purge goes down, and they're going to be able to follow up with the hook shot. He's still got off the BKB, though. Now he's going to turn this fight so damn low. The bull in some serious trouble. He's going to be taken out.
VG Gaming will progress themselves through into the semi-finals.
Who is ready for our first semifinal of the day? Let me hear it. I like you guys. Not yet. We'll get to them right now. The only team to qualify from the China region, they defeated Navi 2-1 to make it here in the semifinals. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Vici Gaming! An EU qualifying team that beat Navi US to make it here to the final day. This might be their biggest feat as a team yet. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Team Secret! And to take us through their predictions, their analysis on what we might see for semifinal number 1, let's kick it off to the T-Mobile expert desk. Guys?
Thank you very much, Marcus. Yes, great intro. Teams on the stage, crowd filling up nicely. Madison Square Garden Theater, what could be better for a Friday morning in New York City? Guys, just terrific that we're already in the semi-finals. It's been a long day yesterday. I think 19 hours or something we broadcasted for yesterday, but it was well worth it to get to this point. And now it's do or die again. I mean, that's the great thing about single elimination. You said it yesterday. Some like it, some don't like it, but as a fan, I quite like it.
It brings excitement.
It does,
definitely.
Indeed, yeah. So, Pyrian, let's start with you. Thoughts on this matchup?
Really looking forward to it. I'm glad these two teams got through. I wanted to see them play each other, and I mean, I think they both deserve to be here. You saw the players when they walked out, especially Team Secret. They looked really relaxed. They were laughing and joking, but you know that once the game starts, it's just going to be like top level. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, indeed. Let's take a look at the team lineups for this first semi-final. Of course, we're going to play these semi-finals back-to-back, and then the grand final at the end of the day as well to find our champion. It's Secret first. And they line up with Kuroki, S4 Fly, Big Daddy, or No Tail as you might have known him before, and Puppy. Yesterday, we talked a lot about S4, we talked a lot about Puppy. I want to talk about Big Daddy today. I think in the last few weeks, and the way that he's played, particularly on Wisp, was absolutely brilliant. And I don't know if he gets enough credit, or maybe he does. So I don't know how you feel about it.
I think so. We talked about it briefly yesterday, how we felt they should have banned out both the Wisp and the Earthshaker, because these are his 2 go-to heroes. He is one of the best players on these heroes, and I think he showed that yesterday as well. His Earthshaker was, yet again, very, very good.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when a team starts out by banning the heroes that he's playing particularly, I think that's a tribute to him.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely a respect band, that's for sure.
I remember hearing a rumor when he was on his last team and his teammate was playing Vici. He was the one microing the birds.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That's true. Yeah, he was.
I mean, that's hard to do. And he can play Meepo too. That's also another feat.
Okay, let's take a look at our second team in the semi-final. They are the Chinese qualifiers. Of course, came through a very difficult Chinese qualification. They are Black, Super, Ice, Fenrir, and Phi, or FY, depending on how you want to say it. We said yesterday that this is, collectively, good team, great play yesterday. We were struggling. We were sort of thinking, hang on a minute, did anyone really stand out yesterday? And I suppose the one that might have stood out a little bit, but not always through the series that he played, because there was one where it didn't go as well, is Ice.
Ice. I think Black and FY did their part as well in the games. But yeah, Ice is like, he's also sort of a hot and cold player. We saw him, we started out with the first game of Vici yesterday, and Ice gave up first blood to Navi. But then he came back strong with his Timber Saw, and then I don't feel like his Elder Titan was that much of a factor. As it could have been. Generally, I didn't feel like the Elder Titans yesterday played as big a part as a lot of the other heroes in their respective lineups.
It's hard to shine as an Elder Titan, though. I think if you get vision, that's generally enough.
Yeah, and as Blacko actually said in the post-game interview, they kept tabs on the enemy support because of ISSI. So in that regard, he's definitely.
Who did the stats this morning? Loves hot chocolate.
I was going to say, needs a hairbrush. Not that I can talk about hairbrushes, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I think if you have players like Ice, you're saying, sometimes he's like plays well or not. I think if you have a player that is like a flair player, every team has them. In every sport, they have a player who can do something that's a bit out of the box, who can do something that's unbelievable. You can't produce that every time. It's a bit sort of, mercurial. So I think that you have to rely on players like that to deliver, and he normally does. So, and when he does, it's amazing. So
he's also like super aggressive, though. I remember.
It's a typical off-lane thing for
like
for some of these
ROTK versus ISSI. Someone's gonna die.
Exactly.
But I think that's why it's a good place to put players like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if the offlaner dies, everyone sort of secretly expects that that's going to happen sometimes. And if they pull off something amazing, then the offlaner can win that lane themselves. Yeah, I mean, he's capable of that. I love watching him play.
Yeah, great player to watch, that's for sure. In terms of predictions, we haven't done those yet, so let's go around the table one by one. Pirin, I don't want to dish you too much yesterday, but
it's okay, I'll take it.
But you did get the same as I did. I secretly wrote down what I thought might happen. I'm just owning up, just to make the Brits feel like we're
together.
Appreciate
and
I
it.
got 1 out of 4 too.
Yeah, well, I specifically bet against whatever they did just to be contrary. Remember?
Right. Okay.
And if I would have got 4 out of 4 if I'd been paying attention. So I'm saying this time, Secret to win 2-1, and I'll stand by that.
All right, Ben.
Secret to win's a pretty good bet.
Okay.
How much? 2-0 and 2-1?
2-1.
2-1? Well, this is annoying because that's exactly what I thought as well. I think.
The benefit of going third.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Secret 2-1 as well.
Okay. Sinwin?
2-1 Vici.
2-1 Vici. Okay. So
He can take my job today and be the guy that goes.
If I lose everything from here on out, we're gonna like tie at the end.
Okay. So 3-1 is the vote here on the desk. Let's find out what you thought at home and in the crowd, because you've been voting away. It's 72-28.
I think a lot of that is fan favorites.
Boys, and maybe a little bit of that in there. But yeah, a lot of support for Team Secret. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of support in the crowd as well. But let's hear you making sure you're cheering for both teams, because I'm sure we're going to see some fantastic plays.
I mean, we all guessed 2-1, so it must be very close.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that's going to be a very close
it's going to
series.
be close.
Yeah. Okay. Any other of the players that stand out for you in terms of who needs to step up that didn't perhaps perform yesterday in either of these two teams?
I always have really high expectations for FY. I think he's just such an amazing support player, but he was, I think, just a couple of weeks ago, for me, perhaps the best support player in the world in terms of stability, always performing on a really high level, making almost no mistakes. As of late, in the last 2 weeks, I feel like there's been a couple of more mistakes sneaking in for him. I'm not sure what the reason is, if everyone else is playing better or figured him out, or if he's just not quite on top of his game. I think he played well yesterday, but I still didn't have that FY standout performance where I've seen other games where he's just like pretty much putting the team on his back in a support role with like a Sand King, which he, by the way, played well yesterday, but it wasn't like that wow FY Sand King effect. So I'm hoping for that today. I think if he plays his best, that will be the reason Vici wins 2-1 then.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like Super did a really good job yesterday. I just
Very
remember.
quiet, just got on with
Yeah,
it.
he just did what he needed to, but I mean, he farmed extremely well, especially in the third game, and we're quick to forget how good he actually is just because of Black and Ice and FY in that lineup. But Super is also one of the leading reasons for why they're so dominant.
I thought we were going to get Na'Vi Mouse chopped into part 2 then from Kuroki, but didn't quite allow him to stay on the camera long enough. Speaking of Kuroki, performances yesterday, again, are we concerned in any way or pleased with how he played? I mean, it again just seems to do what he needs to do, right?
He had a high bar and he fulfilled it. I mean, there's not really much more to say.
I couldn't put a finger on anything he did wrong.
And I think what's really cool about Kuroki is when you're going in as a drafter for this team, I think you can pick him any carry that you want. Like you can play an extremely farm-intensive carry, you can play more of an active role. He doesn't mind and he plays all of them. He had a Medusa game yesterday where we felt like he was maybe not even necessary for that victory pretty much. And then the other one, he played the very active Void, making great chronos and really finding kills. So I think if you're Team Secret, perhaps your biggest strength in drafting is that it seems like you can just pretty much pick whatever you want. And that's also what they did yesterday. It seems like they have their own meta game. They picked heroes that no one else picked yesterday. They picked the Keeper of the Light. I think they were the only team to pick up Earthshaker as well.
Magnus.
And Medusa and Magnus. They second picked a Mag, who no one picks or bans these days. So if you're going and drafting against this team, I simply don't know what you do. You have to have your own plan and then you adapt during the draft because you can't predict what they're going to do.
I think Kuroki might very well be the most versatile player in the world, not just in terms of his hero pool, but also his roles. I mean, he's played everything, right?
Yeah.
He's been the best solo mid in the world at one point. He's been one of the most standout support players for Na'Vi. And now he's back to playing carry that he also did once upon a time. And his hero pool just seems unlimited.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, I was talking to him when we were at the EU hub and, you know, everyone was hanging out and stuff. And I said to him, how often do you watch replays? And I don't know if this is 100% true, but he said he never watches replays. Because when he's in the game, he can already tell what's happened and what's gone wrong. Like his understanding of the game and his sort of appreciation of everything, he can suddenly say, oh yeah, that was wrong or that was wrong. He doesn't feel the need to pore over replays to understand it. And I think that's why he can play any role in any hero. And his mechanics are great, but his understanding of the game is just top notch.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point, actually, because I think some players have to study replays. They have to know everything that went on in that game to kind of build the entire story. But I suppose in a flip that round, if you don't know some of the other stuff, you're never scared of it because you don't know what's coming. So, I don't know, maybe that's the approach he's going to take. As you can see, the players are moments away from the draft. Puppy just talking to Big Daddy right now. What sort of pressure is on him right now, Puppy, to get this right? I mean, we know how good he can draft. We know the strategies that he can pull out.
Not so much.
But in this game?
No,
They're still in their stages of infancy. So, I mean, people like expect them to perform, but it's not that much pressure.
Okay.
I also think like Poppy is probably the captain in the world that is the least faced by his enemies. I mean, we saw that at TI2 going up against IG. He was like, well, boys, let's just play what we like to play. Let's have fun with it. Let's get a Juggernaut. And it worked out so extremely well. And I think that's his his strongest feature, that he can just pick anything for his team if he trusts them.
Yeah, yesterday in the interview with DJ Wee, he was very calm, very humble, and I mean, it's almost easy for him, really, just to be, well, yeah, I've done everything there is to be done.
Well, he's humble, but he's extremely confident at the same time.
Yes, yeah. But it'd be very easy for him to just be slipping into, well, you know, I've been here before, I've done this, and I'm a champion, and, you know, screw you kind of thing. But he doesn't have that about him. He still wants to learn. He still wants to get better at the game. He still wants his team to perform. He's still hungry for victories and tournaments. I think that's amazing.
That's how you win.
Yeah, I think he's the player that is the most excited about this fresh start, the new beginning for him, because he has been in Na'Vi ever since Dota 2 came out.
Yep.
So this is like sort of revitalizing him, and I think he really enjoys it. I think he's probably the happiest he's ever been with the game.
I think he's a very logical guy, and when you talk to him, and he analyzes the game in the same way, so he doesn't let anything get to him. I don't think he feels the pressure because he understands that if they lose, there was a reason for it. You know, I just think that he's collected a group of players that he knows are going to play well together, and I think they've done a really good job. And I just think as a captain, he's second to none. Genuinely, I agree with Malk. Yeah.
Just waiting for the draft to get started. They're having a little bit of fun, actually. I was going to get my phone and text them back because, you know, my phone vibrated at the same time as we saw one of the players picking up their phone. And and I thought, wow, I wonder is really? No, I can't talk
Like he's not impressed right now. He looked like whatever he was looking at was not entertaining.
Kill a man at 10 paces.
So we haven't actually mentioned S4 yet. I mean, that's the thing. If you look at the rest of the team, and then you just suddenly chuck in the best player in the world, it's like, well, it just rounds it off. It's ridiculous, really.
And one thing we did talk about yesterday, I guess the last player on Team Secret that we didn't pay much attention to yet was Fly, who's now called Simba. Who, as I said yesterday, I think relative to people's expectations to how good these players would be, I think Fly is the one who has impressed the most, because there was the most pressure on him and people were least certain about what level he would be able to play on when he's not playing the support role, which he did previously. And I feel like just based on how short amount of time he's had to adapt to the role, which might suit him better than support, like as Melk also said yesterday, Fnatic, if he stayed there, he would have probably played carry by now. I think he's stepped up, and he's playing really solidly in all the games. I wouldn't say he's like an absolute standout performer, but he's playing on a really high level like everyone else. Which
I thought his Timbersaw was amazing.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was on point with all the spell usage on it.
I mean, I've seen this before in other games as well, and actually in Dota 2 as well, but where you build a super team, and inevitably one of the players is highlighted as the weak link, as it were, and he's been highlighted as that already, but that doesn't mean he's a bad player. I mean, I find it's quite incredible that players, crowds, fans will often point to a player who is the weak link and not the obvious reason for them.
But I think that comes in phases as well. Like some players are going to play better at times than other times, and so forth. And of course, in a team that is so star-studded as Secret is, it's easy to point fingers at someone.
Yeah.
And I think eventually it's going to change. It's going to be someone else at some point. It's going to be like 2 months from now, who knows? It's probably No-Tail that everyone is going to bash at, and then maybe Poppy, and then if Kuroki has a bad game where he doesn't actually just go godlike 10 minutes in, they're going to be like, wow, so disappointed.
Yeah, no, he was awful. He only got 450 GPM in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. That's terrible.
So,
do you know, but in a funny way, I think for him to be the, as you said, the supposed weak link, he's in the right team for that, because their expectations are not that they should go on and dominate because they're a brand new team.
Yeah.
He knows his teammates, and they also know him. And they're also really good guys to bring on someone like that and to say, look, it doesn't matter. We lost a couple of games. You know, he's not going to get flamed and booted out of the team in 2 weeks' time. So I think he's in a great spot, and I think he'll do well today. I like him as a player a lot.
To be fair, we don't actually know that because they haven't lost a couple of games.
We think they lost a game. Why don't they just kick him off the stage?
We're just assuming that everything's fine even though they lose.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point to bring up as well. They don't know what losing really feels like at the moment.
Not as a team.
That's weird as well, because say they lose the opening game and then they kind of go, well, it's a new test. They've all individually had that test before. They've all known how to come back, but collectively they haven't got that experience. Is that going to play a part?
I don't necessarily think so. Like in Dota 1, I'd say there's like more areas of dominance where teams have like 70% plus win rates, whereas now like 60% is considered very, very good. So everyone's used to losing.
Also, do you know what? Just before we get into the draft really quickly, if you look at the players, Fnatic, obviously that was Big Daddy and Simba, were on Fnatic for a long time, and they came second an awful lot, so they were used to that. Alliance didn't even get out of the group stages at TI4, and that's where S4 has come in. He understands that. And Na'Vi, of course, lost to Alliance at TI3, so all 5 players understand what it's like to come really close or to lose games, and they didn't break up the teams immediately afterwards. They stayed in those teams and kept it together. So I think there's absolutely nothing to think the Secret will bump into with an obstacle, lose a game, and fall apart. All 5 of these guys know how to lose gracefully.
I thought you were going to go down one of those Dota memes of adding stuff up and confirming a Dota 3 release. I really did. That's where that was going for a moment, but I'm glad we didn't go down there. First pick then in to the draft. Team Secret have picked out Razor.
Easy hero.
So, sort of like one of those, let's pick this up so that you don't get it, just because of how strong Vici Gaming seems with the Razor. When it's in the hands of Super, they just seem to be at their best, really. It's the most comfortable hero for him.
And the heroes banned DP, Brew, and Skyrath. I mean, obviously, those are heroes we saw banned a ton yesterday, but that does leave Legion Commander and Terrorblade and heroes like that, so yeah, this could be interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Vici Gaming actually grabbing the Terrorblade right now for Black. In this kind of game, when you're playing against a team like Team Secret, just feeling like you're not under pressure in terms of time is really important, I think.
I would actually shy away from picks like Terrorblade. I think that Vici's strength is they aren't going to be able to out-late game them in a 4 Protect 1. I think they'll get decimated in that strategy. I think they have to pick more early game and heroes that can fight way better.
But Terrorblade is a good early game.
But on the other hand...
But let Ben finish what he was going to say, which is, however, they are going to pick Terrorblade.
Yeah,
that's called commentator's curse, that is.
I'm okay with that. I just didn't think it's if I were Vici, I would approach it a different way. I don't think that's their forte.
I mean, the fact that they do it doesn't mean that it's the right thing in the game.
No, of
right?
course not.
I mean,
No.
it could
To be honest, I think both teams have a similar time in the game where they shine. They're both very mid-game oriented, I feel, where they get those initial items and then they start pushing their advantage.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, Loda showed us that yesterday, didn't he? When he got to the mid-game, he just exploded. I
No,
mean,
well,
just went
Loda goes
crazy.
for the late game. What Vici does is they try to get the mechanism up and running, and then they just push their advantage. We saw it yesterday against who did they play? Navi, of course.
Yeah.
And as soon as they got the mechanism up on the racer, they just started pushing down Navi and picking them off and killing them constantly. And the same way with
10
Team Secret, they
seconds
want to
remaining.
establish dominance as soon as humanly possible. So I feel these
5
teams really
seconds
push their advantage within the first 20 minutes and don't, like Alliance, rely on farming up past the 20 minutes mark.
Reserve
The
time.
bands are not interesting that much, but they sort of lean towards what we saw a lot of yesterday. Brew and DP, both of those used a lot yesterday.
I'd like to see an Earthshaker here. I really would.
He is really good so far against the two heroes on Vici Gaming. They don't have any real way of getting in and stopping the Earthshaker from using the Fissure. It's a really good way of buying time against the Terrorblade, good AoE damage against the Illusions, and of course, whenever Sand King initiates with either, if he's preparing an Epicenter and you see him with the Fissure, you can actually stop him from far away, or if he goes Burrow Strike into the Epicenter, it's very easy for him to stop.
Also,
him.
if
So I agree. it's a
Earthshaker
great
gets an Ags, wouldn't the Echo Slam, that would bounce off the Illusions as well, right?
I like this pickup. I don't think
Dire
we've ever
team
seen them
back.
pick Enigma and Earthshaker in the same lineup, though. It seems to be one or the other, as far as I remember.
And that's also what Pyrian talked about yesterday, that whenever you play Shaker as a position 5, I feel like it's got, the results are varying.
Yeah.
Because if he has to do all the supporting, it's a hero who, I wouldn't say Shaker as a hero necessarily absolutely
5
needs the Blink
seconds
Dagger, but if
remaining.
you can't even get up the boot Soul Ring early on, for example, you lose a lot of momentum with the hero. And playing him in position
Reserve
4,
time.
you want your Enigma to get farm. And
Yeah.
in a sense, they also kind of do the same thing to some degree in terms of teamfight control. So if you're landing a big black hole, you won't need an Echo Slam too, right? If one of them goes through very well, why would you have the other one?
Right.
Get something else that's better in another point in the game.
I think that Enigma is actually a lot better than the Earthshaker because
Yeah.
I think they need to push down Vici's towers before Vici can push down theirs.
One thing you and I talked about yesterday, and neither of these teams actually did ban or pick
10
Legion
seconds
Commander.
remaining.
Yeah.
But Ben and I was talking about how it might actually be a good pick against Terrorblade.
5
Where you can
seconds
duel the
remaining.
main Terrorblade and
You can duel the main Terrorblade, but
Yeah,
also he's good at removing illusions.
Yeah.
And he's generally
Reserve
just one of
time.
the strongest heroes, and I'm personally surprised that it hasn't been picked or banned more.
I wonder if it's because obviously new to Captain's Mode Legion Commander and you've got to try and work out how you're going to fit a team around it, how it's going to work. So
I think she's very versatile. Though.
I agree. I mean, whenever I play in pub games, Legion Commander pops up an awful lot and always seems to be an absolute pain in the neck.
What do
So-
you think? What do you think about Medusa against Terrorblade with Stone Gaze removing illusions, forcing Terrorblade to turn away from the fight and not be able to do massive physical output? He can't really fight her one-on-one necessarily because she's so incredibly tanky. Do you think could Secret pull that out in this game? How good is that?
Yeah, I think it's also a viable pick, definitely.
I think Terrorblade farms too fast for Medusa to really keep up with. Like Medusa just farms in one place or does Ancients, and Terrorblade just farms the whole entire map. And yes, in theory, she's good against split pushing pushing and just
Dire
keeping a
team
Terrorblade down.
back.
But I think in actuality, you'll just never fight each other in Terrorblade.
Yeah, he would just run, right?
Yeah, he would just get much bigger, and then eventually you get to the point where you're underfarmed and you can't actually fight because.
But you can accept that fact and then meet up in the very late game. Like, if
That's
you're okay
true.
with losing all your tier 2 towers,
Yes.
and just be like, okay, Terrorblade just pushed all our towers, there's nothing we can do about it, let's
Yeah.
just wait for Medusa to get online. Sure enough, he
10
gets online much
seconds
later than
remaining.
the Terrorblade, but
So you just play the high ground defense game.
yeah, but I don't think Team Secret is interested in doing so.
yeah, that's not what they would want.
It's kind of negative to set out at the start to lose all your towers, I think, and just say, oh,
It's too risky.
we'll win on the steps. Yeah, because if you lose, I mean, like we were saying before this game started, we were talking about the difference between the end game and when you lose a game in the end game. Like, when you lose a fight in the end game, it's that much more risky.
Yeah.
So if you're playing for that, especially fighting right outside your base,
10
you know that
seconds
losing a fight is
remaining.
basically game over.
But in this particular case, it's trading towers. It's not just giving up your tier
5
2s and not
seconds
getting anything
remaining.
in return. They have the Enigma, they have the Razor where they can put on the early game pressure.
Right.
So while
Reserve
Terrorblade
time.
is split pushing the side lanes, you can still take down
That's true.
the opposing lanes. And then you're just in this status quo where you get all their tier 2 towers,
Yep.
you lose all your own tier 2 towers, and then it goes into a late game. But as we already
The only problem then, of course, is you leave the Medusa sort of open to being jumped on.
What do you think about the AA pick this early on? Like, there's nothing you're really countering with the Ice Blast, like you're preventing, for example, a Gen heal, or is it to counter the mech of the Razor? Is it just a good synergy with Sand King? Or is it because they're preparing to play that kind of 4+1 style where Terrorblade is in one place and then they have massive AoE abilities to defend towers with Ice Blast and Epicenter? What do you
I think the latter is very possible.
I mean, it's just it buys you time, doesn't it? If the other team is pushing you, drop an Ice Blast, they have to run away.
It's the kind of hero where it's absolutely crucial to reach level 6. And if you don't succeed early on, it can take up to like 15 minutes for an AA to get that level 6 unless you get free pulling. And
But
by that time, you could have lost all your tier 1s at the very least.
Since they picked AA, though, they don't have more protection for the Terrorblade, though. Generally, when people pick Terrorblade, they have like a Dazzle, maybe like an SD or something, or a Tidehunter, something that can actually allow him to get off his thunder, or as we saw yesterday, a Silencer. So if they have an AA, that means they're much more relying on Sand King and AA to actually do damage in the fights rather than protect Terrorblade. So that's another facet of their lineup. Vici also really needs a mech carrier, and Razor has been taken by Team Secret.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, there we go.
Or
We've seen this happen, actually.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Two very quick picks. Earthshaker banned. So from what we were saying about how Earthshaker doesn't fit into that lineup, they've actually decided it probably does, and they banned the Earthshaker.
But we've seen Vici Gaming play this Zeus before, and it's actually, when you look at the first 3 picks, it's not particularly good against Razor, but against Enigma and Magnus, it's really good because they're these Blink Initiate heroes, and Zeus can just take down these heroes so very quickly.
Also, I mean,
and then the instant pick, I think Poppy actually knew what was coming. With this instant pick anti-mates, it's like it's the most obvious pick. There's an AA and there's a Zeus. I can't imagine 2 heroes that would, well, maybe keep the light, or not even, because blinding light is sort of annoying. So these 2 heroes are really just being punished by an anti-mage.
So they typically run an Elder Titan with it. I don't necessarily think Secret will be too scared of it. And he already has Spell Shield to kind of mitigate most of the damage from Natural Order. But that, I think, is an option that many teams would ban.
And they have the Magnus for the lead-up for the anti-mates. So I'm pretty convinced that Team Secret was planning for this all along and was just clapping their hands when they saw the Zeus pick up.
5 seconds remaining.
One thing we haven't talked about so much, though, is with that early Enigma pick, they've shown Vici Gaming that they will probably, what you usually do with Enigma is just play it in your own jungle, right? So the Sand King of FY can actually pretty quickly get up a Blink Dagger in his own jungle. There won't be that much pressure on him, and if they do it that way, then both Sand King and AA will get fast level 6s. If you combine that up with the Zeus ultimate, the amount of potential you have around the map with this lineup is basically, if Sand King finds a target with Burrow Strike, there is a kill. Ice Blast and Thunder God's Wrath, right?
Yeah.
So unless if that target you find is AM, I think any other hero on the Radiant side will die. And even with a mech on the Enigma or the Razor, the Ice Blast will just negate that. So
Team Secret is definitely more vulnerable to ganks at this point.
Centaur band.
Bet on the Centaur, yeah. So I still think they should go with the Elder Titan. I think it's a good pick still. There's no... You're right, the Spell Shield of Anti-Mage will of course give him protection against everything, but just having heroes that work from a long range or from a long distance against this dire lineup is really crucial, so you don't get caught by that Magnus, don't get caught in the black hole. Elder Titan can fight from like 1200 range away and have a huge impact. They don't ever need to get involved in fights.
Everything's on FY here. He's the only initiator. He's the only...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they can get a blink on Zeus, but he's not going to initiate.
Whoa!
Seriously?
That's another initiator.
They actually got up so fast, so I thought, oh, that's a bug.
It's a bug.
Ice was like...
Wow.
And then he just wiped his nose and was like completely confident, just walking over to his chair. Yep, this is what I'm playing.
I am so happy.
He used to play that when Spirit Breaker was a pick. I think Ice was one of the players playing it the most in the off lane. So he's very comfortable on the hero. Now, this hero has been changed a lot in the newest version. Charge now has a 12-second cooldown.
12-second.
That kicks in either when you reach the target or when you cancel the charge.
I mean, we just talked about how susceptible to ganks that Team Secret was. And now with... Whoa.
Oh, there it is. So Action Slacks right now is headed towards the front of the stage. Streak, yeah, he's literally lost the plot right now.
I don't... Did they change Empower so you can? I don't know. It was initially...
You can target Magic Immunity. If that's
Before
so
you can repel and then empower.
Yeah, you can now, yeah.
That's
disgusting.
Pretty mad.
But the heal of Omni-Knight is a little unreliable maybe against it.
Well, this is going to be something else.
Okay, thank you very much, gents. We'll check back in with the desk at the end of the first map. But now let's get live for our first semi-final of the day. Toby1, take us away.
Thank you very much, Paul. It seems our game is a love child between Bruno and Saracens, Lax's Hopes, and we get Omni Knight and Spirit Breaker in it. I'm going to be Toby1, and this is Bucky Mad. We are going to be doing your commentary for this matchup, and we start the day with very unique picks.
Amazing picks. Omni Knight, Spirit Breaker, Zeus, Terrorblade. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I think it's the first time we see those heroes in this tournament.
It is. It's actually, I think, in the entire of ESL. No, I think we saw one Omni Knight during the ESL one in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
But we definitely never saw the Spirit Breaker arrive. I just don't know how well this is going to go. I know we were having a bit of a discussion before the game was kicking off too, like how the hell is Secret really going to lane this? And the one word that came out of your mouth at the end of it kind of spelled it all for me is greed coming out from Team Secret at the moment. Like we were talking about, like maybe you pick up a Crystal Maiden, you can do a combo in the middle lane with the Anti-Mage or a Lich or something like this, run the dual lanes and get on top, but they decide to go for like the big man Omni Knight. This really has to pay off here for Secret.
The draft from Puppy is so greedy, but it really can work, right? But it's very risky for them, especially in the early game. They will have to have good map awareness, try to counter gank with the Omni Knight or the Enigma with the fast Black Hole if Puppy gets a good jungling time. I mean, Notate is going to be the playmaker for Secret. He's going to create space, try to win some time, be the defending one, till Kuroki can actually get some decent farm. And that's going to happen quite fast because even he can decide not to go for the Battle Fury in that game, thanks to the Empower. So we could see a fighting Anti-Mage in that game. It's not going to be, it might not be the Battle Fury Manta style, just AFK farm. It could be the fighting Anti-Mage like Vanguard, Vladimir's old school one with the Empower.
Yeah. Of course, you got the second option too with extra Crimson Guard. You might actually have like a rotation item that can help the rest of your team during the engagements.
So that's a Razor offlane, right?
Yeah.
First.
We'll have Simba, formerly known as Fly, playing that offlane. Poppy's just going to take one of the creeps and then head into the jungle, but look how much Poppy has sacrificed himself right now. He's got 2 tangos and 200 gold. Like, that could be his 4 clarities for jungling right there if he wants it.
I like how confident Vici is. They're like, okay, this is maximum greed from Team Secret, but whatever. We're confident with our lineup. We can just, you know, sit on the bottom lane, just farm up the supports, get some easy XP, and then be effective with that.
Ice. Found himself an Invis rune. He's going to drag the creep wave down. Kuro actually levels up his mana burn to start with, and Ice just goes on a run the other way. I don't think he wants to go this entire way down, however, but it's going to allow Big Daddy to hold the creep wave at bay for the moment.
Very smart. He is doing that so the creep wave actually stays here and deny the next one. So Ice doesn't get... They want to save the lane control. Sure.
Oh, bottom lane. There's a lot of trouble right now for the Razor Fly. This should be first blood. With the damage they get from Chilling Touch, the Burrow Strike from FY, they can just control him up so easily.
Very good decision from Black to get the first spell on Terrorblade. He doesn't need the meta right now because just of the damage of the Chilling Touch, they have what it takes to like take Simba down if they have just the slows and the disable. So good decision making from Black, and that's a first blood, easy one. He's going to get some XP though on the Razor for that, but still.
I'm interested to see how well S4 is going to go here in the middle lane. He's already running his stick, so we're preparing for obviously a lot of Zeus spam, but on top of that he's also going to have the bottle up and running very, very shortly. Who's meant to really come out on top when you have a Mag versus a Zeus lane?
None of them. It's going to be the classic spam lane. I spam my lightnings, I spam my waves, just get farm, trade farm, and be effective in the mid game. I mean, he can die on a mistake as for because the damage output from Zeus is obviously better than the Magnus, but besides that, it's going to be a very even matchup.
Especially considering Super seems to be landing his hits a lot more than S4 is.
The only thing is that
it's a little bit more obvious.
Zeus is a bit weaker. I mean, he's more... if you gank him with Enigma, he's going to be killed every time Papi decides to rotate, so it's a bit harder for Zeus, I guess, because of the ganking power.
Ice. We're going to charge going on. Let's just get him away. I'm not exactly certain where he wants to go all the way down to, but it's going to be for the 2-minute rune. Yeah. And then just, well, okay. Yo, man, bottle.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah,
that was really odd.
Yeah, there should have been bottle charges going into Ice, and Super then taking the bounty rune so he can refresh it.
He would have gotten a bottle charge for that, but no, Super is like, okay, whatever, go back to your lane with no mana.
Well, just assume misclick.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That also means the bottom rune was also taken. So that was a regeneration rune taken by the SK.
You can see how FY is effective. I mean, he is always ready to actually gank the off lane, get the first blood, and he stacked every camp so far. I mean, he stacked this one that he's putting right now and the other one. So he's going to get the dagger, and he knows his tanking. He knows when to farm, when to stack, when to gank.
I know we were both very happy when we saw that SK being picked up because he really is a phenomenal player with this tanking. The question is always going to be when you're going to hit that level 2 up in Sandstorm. Ice is going to get forced off the top lane. Yeah, but when he's able to actually start doing that flash farming.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Ice actually skill builds the Spirit Breaker. You see some players like Go Black, for example, that has been picking a support Spirit Breaker, maxing the charge. I do not necessarily agree with that. I think maxing Greater Bash might be better because of the cooldown that you have on the charge, and it doesn't scale that well, the spell. I'm looking forward to see how Ice, I mean, it's one of his trademark heroes, how he decides to actually build the hero. Tutorial time.
Well, for now, I think, man, he's got to actually focus on the second and third ability, primarily because he can't hold any mana on this top lane. Every time he might want to go for a charge, he doesn't really have the option to do so, because the animators already started to mana burn him out at every moment. So there's no easy charge away.
What's happening right now is that...
Oh, Ice. It's actually troublesome. The purification damage will be there. Kuro, he had a blink. I thought he might have tried to get in front for a body block, but purification damage not actually doing as much as I would have thought out from Big Daddy.
What's happening right now on the map is that the mid lane is pretty even. Puppey is farming a lot, which we could expect from him. Obviously, Ice is getting a bit more than Simba, just because of how the lanes are. It's 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, and obviously 2 melee.
S4, he's going to skewer up now on the Super, just trying to push him out so he can pick up the rune with that wave as well. Super, he's low on life. S4, 4 seconds until he can actually start hitting. Big Daddy's right behind him. Super, he can't cut through the tree line. He's already used his Tango. The shockwave is off cooldown. Is it enough damage? No, it's not. 9 life points left on the Zeus as he retreats.
It was a close one. Unfortunately for them, they actually missed the purification. They got the damage on the Spirit Breaker, I guess, and not on the Zeus, so that was really close, but anyway, really good try.
There's the lane switch up now. I don't know if this is just because he's got a haste rune, so he comes into mid lane to soak it up while he's gone.
It's just for this. He's gonna go back on his lane bottom, and I'm really, like, look, I don't really know what Razor's gonna do with no farm. It's here that needs to tank, as he's pretty much useless, and so far he's been shut down, and it's not really his fault. Obviously, he gave the first blood away, which is really bad, but besides that, how do you want to XP versus TBAA Sand King? That's a very, very scary lane.
It's not even scary when you know the Terrorblade is just free farming the bottom lane. He's 32 for 13 right now. He's just ahead of Koro on the farm.
I would really expect Vici Gaming to push early on those towers. They should, because Razor is not going to be able to actually stay on the lane and try to creep skip, because whenever he's in range for a burst strike, he's going to die. And I don't think that Puppey or Notate can actually rotate to help, and it's going to be an easy tier 1 tower for Black. And given the gold boost, give the gold boost to the Zeus and the Spirit Breaker, they can really put that to use. So
maybe you can explain this a little bit too, why Black is holding onto his skill points. What is he waiting to actually level up here?
He wants to decide if he goes for a meta, which is the fighting mode, or just the farming style, which is maybe upping the conjure images. So he's just saving skills, which is the right decision. You could see that Note was doing the same before they went on trying to kill someone, so he just maxed purification. He was saving for a level of repel if he needed that. So all those players, then they understand that they don't need to take skill points, rush it. Better have the right skill at the right moment.
There's one person who we haven't really flagged as an influence in this game, and that's the man who's currently farming up his own jungle.
Oh, yeah.
6 minutes in, you're 6.5 levels over on this Enigma. There's no presence for him, but of course, I suppose we have the same option on Vici. He's a little bit behind because the SK can't farm as fast as an Enigma, because no one can really. But he is already sitting at level 5.
Oh yeah, FY is level 5, so is Black. I mean, FY has been doing a great job in the jungle. He's already level 5, which is really huge. He got the first blood, so we're looking at 8-minute, 9-minute Blink Dagger this game again. It's really about that Omni Knight. He's not getting many levels, which is okay because he has no space whatsoever. So I hope they can give Notail and Fly the space they will need to actually do a good mid game, because right now they are heroes that are very level dependent, and Omni Knight and Razor are getting close to no space so far.
And with that, VG Gaming just need a small opening. Be it a charge down, I'm waiting for the Ice Blast to arrive. We do have Super's ulti up and running. He's also cracking Arcane Boost as well as the bottle, so he's got a lot of mana to spam against S4 in the middle lane, who doesn't really have anywhere near as much. Yeah. He's got boots, he's got bottle. Obviously he's running it back and forward right now, not able to pick up any of the extra runes. I'm still waiting for Black to just force out this bottom lane with just a little bit of an assistance coming in from the side.
So you can also see Puppey's skill build. This is the maximum greed Enigma. He's just maxing conversion, getting 1 level of Midnight Burst, so he can actually switch from one camp to the other as fast as he can. It's maximum greed, and you can see he's level 8 already. And
we got the charge coming out from Ice. He can't go underneath that tower.
And he's indeed maxing the charge as well, same as Go Black. So all those Spirit Breaker players, they do max the charge.
He's almost finished his urn too. So if they can start getting some momentum with the kills on this Spirit Breaker, with a lot of urn charges behind them, they can just keep going and going. And while all this space is being made by like a Spirit Breaker charging around, Ancient Apparition can easily find his levels too.
So far, I would say that Secret actually got away with the greediness. I mean, they did not win the lanes, and that should never happen, but they did not lose the lanes either. So I'm just curious because Puppey just actually grabbed the cloak, so he's not rushing mech. he got something against magic damage, which is quite interesting in my opinion. I would expect him to actually get a mech. Obviously they have the AA ultimate, but there's going to be many fights before that comes into play. So really interested to see how he's going to build that Enigma. He always has really clever builds on that hero. He's one of the best Enigma players in the world, not only for the black hole thing, just because of how he understands the hero and how he put that hero to use for pushing or fighting early on.
Interesting to actually watch him try and do this push on the top lane at the same time as that 8.5-minute blink dagger for FY. It has managed to arrive now. He'll also buy smoke, but there's no TP scroll on him just yet, so he can't come to the top lane to help defend this. S4 just faking the RP over on the illusions.
He's running top, but he's going to be really late. I think the tower's going to fall down. They don't have a glyph, so they will lose the tier 1 tower, and if they happen, and actually solo kill on the Razor.
Down the bottom lane, and that wasn't even with an Ice Blast. That's just Metamorphosis and Chilling Touch bonus damage, but still a tier 1 tower for the death of the Razor on the bottom lane.
That's going to be a tier 1 tower most likely for black bottom. It's really hard to stop the Terror Blade, and he actually did not skill Sander, which is in my opinion a really good idea. You don't want to go like mid-range versus Enigma, Omni, Magnus anyway. There's no way he can get a Sander off.
It's been forced back by that level 3 plasma field. Zeus, there goes your ulti up against the Mag in the mid lane. No RP being used though, and yeah, he gets caught out while up on top lane. Kuro still battling up against Ice.
Blink, stun, bolt, ulti. It was a really easy kill for FY. There is so much pressure on S4 right now. So much pressure. Whenever...
FY, the Barra Strike, very quick into that repel from No Tail.
Yeah. He would have got No Tail on that move, but just miss. I mean, it was a blind stun, so really hard to do.
He just wanted to give it a crack anyway. Vici Gaming, they know they're getting the kills, even if they're not fully holding on to their map position. I'm still very like looking at Kuro. It is going to be the Battle Fury build coming up from this Anti-Mage.
Yeah. So what Puppey actually did, they pushed the tier 1 tower, and whenever you push the safe lane tower, make sure you instantly pull the creep wave after, because else you're just giving a free space to the off lane. You're just giving a space for Ice to just safely farm under his tier 2. So instant pull by the Enigma. Usually it's not the Enigma that pulls, but he understands that he needs Kuroki to be back closer to his tier 1 so he can farm safely. And we can see a charge top. That might be a kill on Kuroki.
It's coming with the Ice Blast. They're going to go for the combination.
This is very risky for, and Puppey is there, but he can't save Kuroki.
FY, he's going to blink and borrow this one. He's going to reach him. The Ice Blast will hit, and Puppey, he's going to come over. There's your Black Hole Kuro. He might have to walk himself away. He actually turns to attack and take away the mana there of Ice.
Yeah.
And Puppey able to save the life of Kuro.
Very good positioning by Puppey. He actually moved before the spells happened, so that was really close. Great Black Hole defensive one. He saves time for Kuroki, but yet again, I don't think he could have put that Black Hole to use to get actually kills. They need to play very defensively.
We have another charge coming out now from Ice, so he'll cancel it.
The good thing about Team Secret is that they did not lose towers yet. And that's actually not easy versus the full burst damage of Zeus, Sand King, and Turboblade just pushing towers. So it might look really good for Vici Gaming. I think it's a pretty even game so far.
Ice is going for another crack on top lane. Kuro, no blink away. Ice does not have ultimate, but FY has Barra Strike, and they're going to hold Kuro here with the Zeus ulti. It's not enough.
Ice got really unlucky with the bashes. 0 bash in 3 or 4 hits. Obviously, it's only a 17% chance, so it's still okay. But he could have got a bit luckier. And Kuroki, care for the AA Blast.
Yep, it's actually on him.
Oh,
it'll connect.
That's so close.
There's no Zeus ulti though. Ice, he's committing. He's going all the way in for this one. Kuro stuns him up with the Mana Void. He keeps the distance. He doesn't shatter from this. There's no bash for Ice. He's one hit, but Kuro blinks himself away. And now Ice, he is in way too deep. 5 heroes from Secret converge on the Mad Cow, but while all this is going on, they're losing the T1 tower on bottom lane.
It's really not worth it for them. I mean, this is okay for Vici. It's completely okay. Ice had to try it. Obviously, he overextended, but really good play from Kuroki. Just stopped the charge. Ultimate was on cooldown or no mana to ulti. Great play.
Yep. That's the only way he could survive. So with that, we actually have a Blink Daggers now arriving. So we actually get a Blink onto Super.
Yeah.
So we get Arcane Boots Blink Dagger over on him. The Blink Dagger has also arrived for the Magnus. And this should probably be flagged more than anything else. He's smoked up and he's running already down for just one opening.
Zeus
a good double RP is what he'd
love. The game of his life. It's so hard for Secret to actually catch the Zeus with the Blink Dagger. He can position himself however he wants. They have nothing to catch people. They have the RP, obviously, but you're not going to jump and solo RP a Zeus. That's never going to happen. So it's going to be in late game, the Anti-Mage just forcing the Zeus back, forcing him to like position himself in a really bad way so they can actually punish him. But right now it's gonna be a very, very good game for Super. I feel like he's gonna be godlike on that Zeus in the fights.
No, so they're trying to keep S4's Blink Dagger a secret. Big Daddy was actually holding on to it while S4 went out there to farm the lane. So they really want to catch him by surprise. The Sentry Ward's to go down, their Observer Ward sees over the river but doesn't see far enough to get a glimpse of FY, who's just hiding in the trees with that Epicenter off cooldown. But now they have actually shown the Blink Dagger. And he's gonna, well, he does. Yeah. He actually solo RPs in, but instantly, no tails on top of it.
Completely worth it. Good kill. They have to find pickoffs. They have to create space because now for 30 seconds, there is no moves that's going to be intended from Vici Gaming, or actually not big ones.
See, I'm not even quite sure about that because like Zeus can come back up again in 18 seconds time. An Epicenter from FY, which will stop this mid push.
But he has to be careful. He can't stay there for. They know they can't push towers. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they are aware that pushing towers into a Sand King Dagger, AA ultimate, that's not gonna happen. But they are happy with the situation. They just want to farm up. They have Anti-Mage, they have Magnus, Enigma. That's a very, very late game oriented lineup. And Razor did nothing that game still. It's one of the best heroes of the meta so far. So Fly will come into play at one point.
Yeah. Well, he's getting enough space on that bottom lane. He's been sitting down there for the last 2-3 minutes just free farming it.
This is what Team Secret has been doing the whole tournament. They just force rotations. Trust me, they do not want to push their
S4. Quick blink by Super. Evaded the repelled S4.
They poke towers. They just get Eldalons, get 2 or 3 heroes. So either you TP and defend, and then you lose map control, you lose farming time, or you just let the tower fall. They just poke towers all the time. It's very interesting how they play.
It's like Vici Gaming are trying to set up here on the top lane. We actually get Ancient Apparition with a Hannah Midas. Probably just trying to get into that higher level up in the Ice Blast and potentially directly into the Aghanim Scepter upgrade after that. FY, he's trying to hide in the tree line, waiting for Kuro and Big Day to come out. And Ice just runs away. Now Puppey, Malphus stun. That'll cancel the run away from Ice. He's trying to ulti himself out of this one, but cannot do so. The Ice Blast will connect over on Big Daddy as well as S4, but there's just no follow-up, and then the blink into the trees allows FY just disappear himself further away.
So Puppey's actually rushing a pipe, which is a very good decision in my opinion. S4 just checking if no one's there, but everybody left. Actually, FY is still hiding there, but he has a TP scroll. He's going to TP mid and try to get some farm going. Black is... It looks like Black is going for Radiance. It's exactly the same build as... Like, Loda did the same yesterday.
Yep.
Yasha, Aquila into Radiance and go full farming mode. So, interesting to see. I'm not sure what he needs versus Secret's lineup because BKB is going to be very ineffective. It doesn't work versus the Link, versus Razor's ultimate, versus Black Horde, and versus RP. So
yeah, Ice. You're being mad to run into that. There's 3 heroes to S4. Well, the Son of Magnus, not so great on that one. FY, the Epicenter kill. They bring down the Razor again. S4 will come to the lane, but there's just no opening for him. Vici Gaming have already scattered to the winds, but then again, there's a charge coming to S4. Fenrir, he's in a lot of trouble at the moment. Being dragged back down again, but at the same time, Kuro can't pull FY out of the Sandstorm. The Ancient Apparition did get away. Ice will cancel it, because they still see Kuro in the side. The blink down from FY and away. A lot of damage on the Mana Void if you wanted to jump for it,
Manta slide, actually.
Is it full Manta?
Yeah, he went for the Manta slide. No Radiance so far. Which is a good decision. It's going to be really hard for Secret to actually start the pushes.
Ice. We're going in again. Bashes into Puppey. They go with a quick bolt as well. The Midnight Pulse is very far back there. Super needs to get some space here. With the pipe already popping off the Secret, the Skewer down, slowing down Super, the Burrow Strike from FY, not in time. They've already picked off Zeus with these Terrorblade illusions, hurting Puppey quite a hell of a lot. Same on Kuro, and Ice charges to the bottom creep wave.
But like Ice is using charge to like really good use so far. He just moves on the map faster. Farm faster, TP faster. He always has his TP ready because he just charged from one lane to the other. So really interesting to see him play that Spirit Breaker.
Yeah. Kind of very difficult for Secret to even control the positioning of the fight when he's doing such a thing.
And now they have the Battle Fury on Anti-Mage, so farming mode is on for Kuroki. He's going to be maxed out by minute 35, 40, if the like 35 rather, if the game goes well for him and he doesn't die to ganks. So what Vici Gaming is going to look for right now is ward Team Secret's jungle and try to get good chargers or just Epicenters or whatever they want to use to kill that Anti-Mage. They need to stop him from getting Manta and BKB.
At the same time, though, would you still back on the fact like Terrorblade could farm a lot faster than the Animage can? Like, I'm still looking at Black, who's over 10,000 net worth in 18 minutes.
It's an insane farm for Black. We didn't mention that, but he has almost 200 CS, and we didn't reach minute 20. It's an insane farm for Black. He has been farming so much, and he actually got 2 towers to his name. So it's a very, very farm Terrorblade. But yet again, you're facing an anti-mage against Midnight Pulse, an anti-mage with free repel, free empower. It's going to be really hard because it's going to be a very buffed anti-mage. You know, he has a lot of supportive spell to his name. So I don't think Black can actually out-carry KuroKy in that game. He can out-farm him, and he's going to shine by the minute 20 to 25, but I don't think later on in the game he can actually out-carry him.
Well, at least into this mid-game, he has the advantage for now.
Empower. Now they start to empower KuroKy. So you can see the cleave, it's just insane. That's level 1 empower.
That's one way to get through a lot of farm.
Oh yeah.
Actually, interesting to see where it goes from here. Should it be a BKB build here, or is it even worthwhile just getting something a little bit more temporary like Vladimir's? I know you're going up against an Ancient Apparition, you already have an Omni Knight behind you, but...
The faster he gets a BKB, the better. Even if he has the repel, that's not... He needs a BKB, regardless, in my opinion.
Oh, they found Puppey. Blink, Bara Strike, the A ulti, Zeus with a clap, and then Puppey turns. He got the pipe bomb with the double BKB. However, he will still go down. Super letting up the Thunder God's Wrath, and Ice comes in. Finds the collateral kill going into Omni Knight. While still Anti-Mage goes down. That's a
solo kill on Anti-Mage with TB. What happened? I'm pretty sure KuroKy actually blinded.
It had to be a misblink.
Into a Terrorblade.
That had to be the only way.
Yeah.
Either that or it was, like, it's not even Sunder. Like, it wasn't as though he was on the upper hand.
No, it's just a misplay from KuroKy. I mean, I don't know if it's a misplay, but it's a very risky play to just blind blink somewhere. Really nice play from Black, and now Secret is... It's looking bad for them. They just lost 3 heroes, the Anti-Mage, and a tower. Against nothing. Epicenter wasn't used. Okay, they used Zeus ultimate, but they still have what they need, which is to actually take a fight.
Yep, and they're even looking at S4 at the moment. There's 2 heroes here. Bara striking from FY, blinks himself away.
And they got a tower. It was just a zoning.
Oh, S4 again! That's twice. The RP onto that mid lane creep wave.
Oh yeah, that's very unfortunate. Second time he wasted. It was very, like, that's not S4, you know?
No, it's not.
Be a bit pressured in that game.
Maybe. Well, Puppey was talking about it yesterday. This is their first time on land. They take it as a learning experience.
So far, the Razor did nothing that game. I mean, the Razor pick, it was the first pick. It was sent on the offlane is here that needs to be snowballing. If you're playing from behind as Razor, since you actually need to be in the fights, then it might be a catch-up Razor. If they win a fight somehow, thanks to the Black Hole, the RP, he might get some gold and get a BKB. Because BKB is really the best item versus Vici gaming his lineup. That's why they got the Omni for the repel, maybe.
I'm not even sure that's going to be enough anymore. With that Skadi, FY, he's coming top lane. Blink, Fire Strike with the Zeus ultimate and the AA Blast. We're looking at a semi-team global at the moment, and Ice charges into Kuro. He's still got his ultimate bash, but there's a lot of heroes coming down. S4 going to skewer in, cannot reach Ice. Kuro's going to stick quite close on his tail. Charges off cooldown in 2 seconds time. He ulties out to the creep wave and away.
And gets
he can't jump away. He can't jump away. He's already triggered the drum charge. Support is not coming to him. Kuro blinks down. He does have Mana Void, and that'll be a guarantee kill on Ice. So something comes back at least for Secret. But at the same time, I'm seeing FY forcing into the tier 2 tower, and Black is probably still farming up. In fact, he now has his full Skadi. It's being picked up on the courier as we speak.
Fat. He is huge as Terrorblade right now. He is very, very, very farmed. And I like the decision from Super to get a 4-staff. I mean, the Zeus does so much damage just thanks to his passive. So it's all about positioning. If he doesn't get caught, he's going to deal so much damage in the fight. He can take down the anti-mage by himself. Obviously, Puppey has a pipe, so that's going to negate a lot of damage. But Black's GPM is huge that game. But
620.
To be fair,
620 at the moment.
Nobody ganked him, to be fair. He had the perfect game. He can do whatever he wants from the jungle as much as he wants. He got towers, he got kills. So this is the perfect TB game if you're Black. He's got to be happy with his farm.
And he's going to be ecstatic. Like, this is Black's heaven. We know him. He loves to just farm. Now, Ice, also likely to be a mad cow, runs halfway across the map just with his charge. And he's actually looking, because he had the Observer Ward. They've got this very deep Observer Ward inside the dire side jungle. That's what you were calling out before. They had to make sure that the Animage didn't find farm. They had to make sure they ganked him up. And they're successful on all fronts.
Yeah.
What's probably even scarier is the fact, too, that Fenrir, like, because he's running this Hand of Midas, too, he's almost level 11. So we're looking at a double, like, a second level Ice Blast in a moment. And he's got, like, 2,000 gold away from Ags.
He's been AFK farming. I mean, Vici Gaming is going very greedy in that.
They're coming. S4, he's got RP available, and he fewer misses. He pulls only the illusion, so Black gets the space. Meanwhile, up on top, the Ice Blast coming in. Kuro will be affected by that one. The Zeus ulti as well. They'll pick up Big Daddy on the bottom lane, but Kuro, he will be able to pick up Ice back inside the dire jungle. But they're losing the tier 2 tower. The fortification will protect it for the moment. But Super still looks like he's on the hunt.
Yeah. They want to go, again, on S4. They want to...
They can see him. The Observer Ward, Burrow strike from FY. Double was perfect. Black comes in, and S4, he's trying. He is so trying to get it off, but the RP again being wafted. The Black Hole from Puppey is just holding Black there, and Black will be... He'll take a moment to think about this, and then sunder to Puppey. Oh, man, this Terrorblade is so big. They'll take the tier 2 tower. The team fight was at least a little bit more in favor of Secret because they got a couple of kills, but... Overall, there's still 4.7k experience up.
No, that was actually a really bad team fight for Secret. They just fought without the Omni. No repel, no heal, no ultimate from Omni. That was... and no RP.
Look at the Terrorblade!
So,
this guy's dishing out, man. It's 260-ish damage.
Yeah, that's
coming up 24 minutes in. Now S4, he got Burrow Strike. He tried to go for the Skewer again.
It's just Notail not putting the repels early enough, I feel like. They should never get stunned. I mean, he should repel the Magnus before he goes in. That was a free kill on Black, and great jukes from Black again.
Super. Oh, again. Now the epicenter. They turn, and S4 is going to go down. The Ice Blast is in a perfect position. It's going to hit on both Simba as well as Big Daddy. And Omni Knight, he triggers the ultimate, so at least he can keep himself alive for a moment. The pipe comes in. FY, double Burrow Strike into the Sandstorm. He picks up the Omni Knight. The charge in from Ice. FY blinks up into the high ground, so they can't even find him. Kuro will pick up the Zeus finally, and then be chasing down Ice again. We're in Deja Vu. Fenrir is right behind him, the ulti in 7 seconds time. He wants to help out his teammate, and all they can do is just get to the tier 1 tower, and Kuro has to break off the chase.
FY is playing out of his mind right now. Like, the plays from that, it's just insane. He instantly turns, instantly jukes, TPs out. He doesn't waste a single second. It's amazing how he plays. Right now, it's just Vici Gaming completely outplaying, outskilling Team Secret, and they are outskilling Puppey.
They're going to kill top lane too.
So, I mean, it's not really easy to do so. They are playing so well.
He hung around just a little longer. The charge is still coming from SB. Man.
They saw him with the ward.
Is it going to be mad?
Yeah.
He stops. Yeah. He stops.
Rightly so. Like, useless to give a kill like this. Razor is playing from behind already. It's not like the Razor is a threat or something.
Money on Black. He's 18,000 net worth 25 minutes in.
Just
this guy's farm is ridiculous. It's 705 gold per minute.
Yeah.
Coming up on a Terrorblade.
It is insane. And 25 minutes in, I mean, if it's like 40 minutes in, that's understandable because you don't farm that fast, you know, the first 10 minutes. It's insane farm on Black.
Look at what FI is building into. It's Diffuser Blade.
That's a great decision from him. I mean, he knows he's having a good game. He just needs the dagger anyway. I mean, he doesn't even need the force staff to disengage because he has so much backup that actually Secret cannot afford to turn and man fight like that early. Aghanim's on A really soon. Diffuser Blade on St.
He actually just finished it.
He has it already?
Yeah, he just bought it up in the stash.
It's looking very, very grim for Team Secret right now. They need a super black hole from Puppey or anything that can actually save them, but...
Even if there's a black hole, the follow-up damage that will be required is just not there. Like, you're not getting it out from a Razor. Even with a level 2, like, Eye of the Storm, you need to get, like, a 5-man RP into a 5-man black hole with a mana void on 5 people.
To be completely fair with Puppey's draft, they had 0 5-on-5 fights right now. Omni was never there. I mean, it was always RP down, Omni not there. Someone was missing every time. They never got a real 5 versus 5, and the pipe was never put to use from Puppey. So I'm looking forward to see a real 5-on-5 because they have a great fighting lineup. Omni Knight is so good at fighting.
God, they can't even keep vision. But that changed to Lightning Bolt now that actually gives reveal. Koro is coming in. He's repelled up. He's going to go onto Fenrir. Takes away half his life with just 2 swings. Straight to the mana void. But a 4-staff down by Super will get him away.
Black top. He's getting a tier 3. You cannot do this versus TV. You just can't.
And now you actually see VG Gaming wanting to turn. Puppey, he blinks in, but the rest of his team's already backed up. FY will go for the Burrow Strike, the Ice Blast, connects on S4. He can't blink while this is on him, and now SB charges in FY. He actually managed to dodge it. Kuro's coming out for the kill, while Ice will pick up the Razor. Meanwhile, up on top lane, Black's currently winning the game. He is going up against Kuro, but he's taking the top range racks. He'll take the melee racks as well. He is taking everything from them. The charge coming up from Ice. They're chasing into Puppey. The Malphur Sun will stop him again.
And you could think that S4 actually did a mistake dying. It was on purpose. He just wanted to stay in range of stun so they can't TP back. This is how you play with Terrorblade. You know that you first issue when the TB is getting at the base, at the enemy's base, and then you just don't let them back. And if you have to like give your life for it, obviously you want to trade a Sand King support, death for a set of racks. So great play by FY. Yet again, it's him again doing the plays and just outplaying Team Secret. They couldn't back. You cannot TP in front of SK. You had to wait his turn or just blink out or something. Great place.
I think Black might give up this Quelling Blade now. He's finished up his full Butterfly.
My God.
That he's going to be picking up Roshan.
And he has 3k. I mean, that guy is so farmed. It's a joke.
What's he up to now? 771 gold per minute. It just keeps rising because he took the racks. He took everything. Puppey, there's a Malphur Sun again on Ice. He's going to be dead. He's pulled in way too far. He's going to ulti into Puppey. But at the same time, it's just base creators, because all he's making sure is that Secret is staying inside their base and they're not contesting the Roshan.
If it wasn't for Ice dying 5 times alone, this game would be the biggest stomp right now, honestly. They just got some kills from Ice.
It's tactical feeding, man. Yep. That's what this is from Ice. He knows what he has to give up.
The pick from Team Secret was very greedy. I don't want to say arrogant, but it's like, obviously Vici Gaming play a bit like on retard mode and they just go into the 5-man like Black Hole, Omni Knight. Obviously the pick then makes sense, but you can't expect such a good team to actually fall into that trap. It's too obvious. They need more subtle picks. They need better picks. Like right now it's just too obvious.
Yeah, Black, turn your courier around, man. You gotta sell your Ring of a Cooler and pick up that Crystallis of his.
He doesn't even need, to be honest. He can man fight 10 anti-mage in a row. Kuroki can buy back 10 times in a row, he won't take down Black.
He can buy the Daedalus in at this farm rate, 1 minute.
Yeah.
In 1 minute he can pick up that Daedalus. Yeah. But his damage output, you look at him right now, he's still sitting there at 266. Wait until he actually triggers off his Metamorphosis too, and there you go, 286 plus 102. Black is just going to melt anything he walks into. And what are they going to do? Fortify an RP? He has to. The RP, he got cancelled. The Burrow Strike comes in, S4 can't even skewer around. He's dead so quickly, Puppey will come in. It's a double Black Hole for Kuro. The Repel will keep him alive. The Ice Blast effect's on him, FY into the Sandstorm. They can't see him, they can't reveal him. And Black, he is just killing everybody. Puppey's gone, it's a double kill. This should actually be GG. They will take out the mid racks. They've already got the bottom practically done. The charge down to Kuro as well as Big Daddy. Black, look at him destroy him. It's 608. Simba is gone. Triple kill for Black. It's an ultra kill for Black. GG. He puts him so far down. 840 gold per minute at the end of the game for Black. This, I think, is the biggest Terrorblade in a very, very long time. Since the patch started up, there's been a couple out there. But this Terrorblade is bigger than them all.
That was a very easy game for Vici Gaming. I mean, they played at super... FY played out of his mind. The farm from Black was perfect. The plays from Ice were okay. He created some space. He wasn't that bad.
He still ended with the 256.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, he created some space. He gave them vision of them. He actually forced TPs. And this is his job. I mean, Kuroki played okay. He had a good farm, but honestly, just outsmarted. Every move was better for Vici Gaming. The game understanding was just better.
And but we did also say it from the start. It was a greedy kind of lineup. Like if it paid off, then it could have been really, really great. But it's kind of like looking at like a Nagasaren just free farming on the bottom lane. You know it's coming. You know it's going to come at some point, but there was just no reaction to it. And when the Terrorblades got bigger and bigger and bigger,
they couldn't do anything.
He never stopped. He just kept going and going and going. And that's something, a reason why we fear a Terrorblade. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him ban the first 2 in the next game.
Be banned. That hero is so strong.
Yeah, but before we get to that, we'll have a short break and we'll see you all back here in a moment for game number 2.